Hey everybody, welcome back to this channel. I'm not even going to address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that I haven't uploaded in like 5 months. I want to tell you today about something that happened to me. It's still fresh in my mind, and it's about how I got scammed. And well, I almost got scammed. I nearly lost essentially £5,000, if not more. Well, more. I was literally 3 seconds away from sending £5,000 to a random account, a random person, someone I've never met in my life, right? And when I told my friend that, he was like, "You mad? Like, that's not, you're not, what happened?" kind of thing. Because let's just be very frank, I'm not the person you scam.
Yeah. You ready? Hey!
I'm just not. I'm careful, I'm diligent, I check things over. So the fact that this happened, initially I was so embarrassed. I'm not telling anyone. This is the only, like this, I'm taking this to my grave kind of thing. But I thought, you know what, this might help somebody. And actually, I think it is going to help somebody because apparently this is a common scam that happens to everybody. And so, yeah, let's just get straight into it. I should say, because I'm thinking about what happened, like looking backwards, retrospectively, it all makes sense now. Like I'm like, oh yeah, no. But when it was happening, it really didn't make sense. Like even how I'm going to tell the story is going to be based on the fact that I now know everything that went on, right? But just follow me for the most part. So this all started when, what was I doing? Oh, the delivery, right? So essentially, I've ordered like lots of stuff from Amazon. Stuff is coming in and out of the house because I'm reinvested in myself and buying equipment for sports and whatever. So one of the days I hear the doorbell ring. I go downstairs to try and find the person and they're not there basically. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed the delivery. And then maybe 20 minutes later, I get a text on my phone from, was it UPS or DHL? Do you remember? Doesn't matter. It wasn't them. But anyways, I get a text from UPS or DHL and they're like, oh, you missed your delivery. Click this link to basically reschedule a new delivery time. And they said something like arranging redelivery might cost you £1.75, something like that. I know you probably think you know where this scam's going. Trust me, you don't. So I don't click on the link. I just kind of leave it because it's just like whatever. I'll rearrange it later. I do all my life stuff. And 4 days later, I'm doing some quick admin because I've got to go play tennis. So I'm doing admin, sending some emails, replying to messages, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that DHL delivery thing. So I click on it. I go on my laptop, click on the link. It takes me to the DHL website to arrange redelivery. Everything looks legit. I'm not even checking to see if it's legit. I just look at it and I'm like, yeah, DHL, the logo's there. I have autofill on my computer, so literally I put my cursor on it. It fills in my whole name and then done. And then it's like, oh, the redelivery is £1.40. I didn't care. I just, again, autofill, done. So I'm like, smashed it, finished. Let's go watch the tennis because Federer's playing. I'm sitting there watching tennis now. Federer isn't playing so well. In fact, he loses the second set, doesn't he? First round of the US Wimbledon, whatever. Federer, I hope you win the whole tournament, but it wasn't playing well. And then randomly, like on Monzo, see how you get the kind of card active check thing? I get the card active check and it goes ping. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then £5 leaves my account from Just Eat. And I see it, and the match is good. So I'm watching the match and I look at it, I'm like, whatever. I don't actually use Just Eat ever, but I thought maybe I ordered something back in the days and they're only taking out the money now, whatever, I left it. And then I hear another ping and £15 leaves this time from Just Eat. So I'm like, hold on. Hold on. What's that meme with Oprah? It's like, hold on.
Hold up, wait a minute.
I was like, okay, this is not me. So I open my phone, open Monzo app, read the transactions, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not me. This is not me. So I blocked my card immediately, cancel the card essentially. Go on Monzo, ask them for a new card. They tell me a new card's gonna come on the app. They tell me a new card's gonna come in, what do they say? 3 to 5 working days. I'm like, cool, done. I put the phone down. However, there was a niggling feeling in my head that but someone has my account, and obviously, sorry, someone has my account details. I checked in the room, and I've got my card. So I'm thinking, where did someone get my, like, I'm careful. I'm very careful. So I'm thinking, how did this, anyways, so I just leave it. Okay, now the story gets crazy. Because I get a call then from from Monzo's customer service number, and I recognize it because I've contacted them before. And someone picks up the phone like, oh, hey, Mr. Omoniyi, we've noticed some suspicious activity on your account. And I'm like, yeah. I just saw it out on the Monzo app, and they were like, yeah. I'm calling from Monzo. We want to upgrade your security services or something like that. And I'm like, cool. And then the guy, and by the way, just quick aside. This guy has this. He's putting on like a weird accent. Like he's black. I can tell he's black, right? But he's putting on this kind of weird, I don't want to say Caucasian accent because that's not a thing, but he was putting on like, all right, Mr. Omoniyi, and I was thinking this is a bit odd, but I just thought, gotta help a brother out. I just left him alone. Anyways, he's like, oh, before we get started, you need to pass security on your card. So he asked me security questions, where I live, to confirm the account details, and I'm doing it. I even get one part wrong, and he like says try it again. I say it again, and he's like, okay, cool, Mr. Omoniyi, you've passed security. I'm like, thank God. And he's like, yeah, so we're gonna open a case into what went wrong. Even though your new cards come in, that's okay. We wanna open a case into what went wrong, and how to prevent this. And he's like, the transactions came from Birmingham. Do you recognize anyone in Birmingham? I was like, no, I don't know one person in Birmingham apart from, it's complicated. But I was like, I don't know anyone in Birmingham. So he's like, okay, cool, we're gonna cancel that. I'm like, thank God, he cancels that. And then he's like, have you given your account details to anybody? You giving your card to a friend? And I'm like, no. But then it dawned on me, I was like, hold on a minute. I did fill out a form online recently to get so I was like, oh my gosh, it was the delivery thing. So I'm literally so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I think I know what it is. It's the delivery thing. I made a big mistake. He's like, oh, don't blame yourself, Mr. Omoniyi. People do it all the time. Don't blame yourself. And he's like, oh, let me take you through how to spot when it's a fake link. He takes me through the fake link spotter. He tells me, and bear in mind, by the way, quick aside, I literally teach internet safety. Like I've done training with Facebook on this stuff. So I'm just like so confused. I'm like, it has a valid SSL certificate. I'm going back and forth with him. He's helping me understand how to spot fake links and stuff. And then after that, he's like, okay, cool. Well, Mike, or Mr. Omoniyi, your account is compromised. So obviously we need to get you your new account details so you can still use your card. Cool. So he's like, we're gonna use Verify, and Verify is that thing that I think Twitter use it, where like if you need a code, they'll just send it to you through Verify. He said you're gonna get a text on Verify with your new account details, even though your card isn't here yet, so you can still use your account. And what would be wise for you to do is to move the money in your account now to your new account that's coming up, that you're gonna get the card for soon. And he said that the branch manager or the case manager handling this case is a guy called John Ronson, and I don't know if I can show the link, what he actually sent me. I don't care. I'm going to show it. And he's like, okay, cool. So what we need you to do now is we need to confirm that this account is yours, and then we need to transfer the money in this account to your new account. So at this stage, it's kind of a bit odd, but I have no reason to question the guy. Like, he knows all my details. He's taking me through security. We're even doing banter. We're laughing. He's like, don't blame yourself. We're going back and forth on how it happened. He said he's been scammed once as well. And that's how he got into the job. He's just telling me stuff that's just making me go, okay, cool. Anyways, so at this stage, he then tells me, he's like, can you read out the amount of money in your current account right now? So I read out the amount of money in my current account to him. And literally, I say it all out for the sake of, should I tell them the amount of money in my current account? Do I even care? I don't care. So I just say, I say the amount, and then he's like, oh, what about the pence? So I'm like, oh crap. So in my head, I'm even thinking this guy can see my account. So I'm like, oh, I just tell him the pence as well. He's like, cool. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna transfer the money to your new account, but we're gonna do it in increments. So like, nothing's alarmed, you're not too alarmed, but also we can check that it's landing and you can be kind of safe and secure, whatever. So I'm like, cool. And then the phone cuts. Now, just to kind of wrap this up, I'm on my way to tennis at this stage. Like, I'm on the phone to him, I'm kind of carrying the tennis stuff, going to play tennis, because in my head, someone's solving my case, right? But then this is starting to sound a bit weird, but it's not that deep for now. And then he calls me back, but this time he calls back a no caller ID. So I'm a bit like, why is he calling me no caller ID? Whatever. Mr. Omoniyi, are you ready to continue the transaction? I'm like, yeah. But I was like, but I can't lie. Like, what if I'm sending my money to like a random account? And he's like, oh, don't worry, Mr. Omoniyi. You know, this is why we took you through security. You know, you can trust me, whatever. And I was like, okay. But I can't lie. It was feeling very fishy at this stage, but I'm still like, all right. Now, we were playing tennis, and so it was my turn to like play. So I was conflicted as well, but I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Let's send the money. So he's like, the first, let me just generate this on the computer. And he's like, okay, cool, you're gonna send £2,600 first. So I'm like, okay, cool. Because he broke what's in my current account down into different increments. So I was like, yeah, that's calm. So I type in 2,000. I didn't say the important part. So before I said this, when I was asking him questions, he started getting agitated. Like, he was like, Mr. Omoniyi, just Mr. Omoniyi. So I'm thinking, bro, it's my money. Like, let me ask my questions. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, so he says £2,600, whatever. I type that in. I type in my new sort code, my new account number. I press send, and a pop-up comes on Monzo saying like this transaction looks suspicious. So I'm like, okay. And then there's two options, which was like cancel this payment or chat to us on the app. So I tell the guy on the phone, I'm like, oh, yo, like your colleague, I'm on the app, and the app is telling me that, you know, that that this is a suspicious transaction. He's like, oh, don't worry, it's because you just blocked your card. I'm like, okay, yeah, true. So then I click chat to us, and a woman called Grace, hallelujah, pops up. And Grace is like, there's a little message that comes up first, and she's like, Monzo would never call you without arranging a call on the app. Monzo, we would never ask you to transfer money to a different account, and all the list of things that Monzo wouldn't do. So I tell the guy on the phone, I'm like, yo, your colleague Grace is saying that Monzo would never call me out of the blue. Monzo would never tell me to transfer money. And he's like, oh, don't worry, that's just an automated message, you know, don't worry, there should be an option to just send the money. And I'm like, nah, there actually isn't an option to send the money. And he's like, okay, cool, tell me what they're saying, and you know, I'll tell you what to say back. So I was thinking, but you should know this, like, your company's given two different pieces of information. You're telling me my account's compromised, that people are setting up direct debit to my account, and I need to move my money ASAP. But at the same time, your colleague is saying don't do anything. So I was getting a bit like, this isn't adding up now. And then the phone kind of cuts again, randomly. And I'm messaging Grace now. I'm like, Grace, I'm on the phone. And Grace is like, you know, who you sending money to? You know, is everything okay on this account? And I was like, yeah, I'm on the phone to one of your colleagues. You know, he's guiding me through the process, trying to get my money to my new account. And she's like, hang up the phone immediately. I said, sorry, Grace? She said, hang up the phone immediately. This is a scam. That person does not work for us. I'm gonna call you myself right now. So literally my head's just been, I'm just like, I think in memes. So in my head, I'm thinking of like memes, but I'm just like kind of like, what's going on type of thing. Cause I'm literally spun. Cause I'm thinking, is Grace the fraudster? I just don't know what to do. So Grace calls me, arranges a call with me. Like, I'm gonna call you in 5 minutes, calls me, then texts me through security properly. And she's like, yeah, that guy's the fraudster. So my head spun. I'm just like, but he's the one helping with my account. He knows all my details. And they're like, yeah, what they do is they basically do a phishing scam first. So it was actually him that first sent the DHL text. So they do that to get your details, and then they pose as your bank trying to investigate and solve the problem, right? This took like 30 minutes altogether. And they use that to then get you to send money to random accounts and stuff like that and take your money. So when she was telling me all of this, I was just like, oh my God, like what? Scammers have leveled up. Like, I just couldn't believe how elaborate, because the guy, so anyways, so I'm just thanking Grace. Like, I was such a loser. I was like, Grace, you have saved my life. I was doing the most on the phone to Grace. She's like, don't worry, it's my job. I don't know if Grace will ever watch this, but I really like her. Grace is brilliant, right? Anyways, so I tell like the friend I'm with, like, can you believe the guy was a scam? We're like, no way. So the guy then calls me back. This guy had the nerve to call me back. And he's like, Mr. Omoniyi, are you ready to carry on with the transaction? I took a deep breath and I said, what did I say to him? I said, brother, I'm very disappointed in you. I can tell you're black because I can hear you. And I said, I don't know what's happened in your life that's got you to the position where you feel like you need to do this, but you don't need to do this. You're better than this. I told him, I said, I'm a Christian. I'm going to pray for you, but you don't have to do this. And he was like, oh, Mr. Omoniyi, no, Mr. Omoniyi. I was like, brother, stop. Like, we all know what's going on here. Like, what are you doing? And then he was like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm sorry. And then what did he say? He's like, oh, rate my thing though. That was good, innit? I just said, you know, when you have to remember the cross. I said, okay, all right. And then, you know, I told him, I said, I'm going to be praying for you. And I cut the phone. And I will be praying for him because I feel sorry for the guy. But this whole situation was just mad. And I don't want to get all preachy, like, the righteous should take heed lest they fall. But I can't lie, I really did believe I was above scamming. Like, you just can't scam me, is what I always used to say. But I'll tell you the two things I learned. One is when you're not focused and you're doing something, like I was throughout the whole call, I was not focused. I was getting ready for the gym, for tennis, I was picking up water, I was walking, and I just wasn't, my critical faculty was like switched off for a minute, for literally a split second. And I was just kind of just doing other things and not really listening. And somehow, I would have sent this guy like over £5,000, you know, and probably never got it back. I doubt Monzo would be like, oh yeah, we'll send it back to you. They'll probably be like, why are you sending £5,000 to someone random? And probably if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, I'm not gonna lie, like this can't happen to me. It can't happen to me because like how could you send £5,000? And that's not how it happened. It was 30 minutes of conversating, talking, bits and bobs that led to this crazy thing that was about to happen. So what's the second thing? I don't know, I said two things, but there's only one thing I learned. Don't be playing tennis or ask you so that money stuff. No, but the second thing is just to be more careful, especially when it comes to like money. Like one, I now know that no company, UK company at least, would ever ask you to pay for redelivery. They just wouldn't, right? No UK company would be, or bank would be telling you to read out the amount of money in your account. They would never tell you to move money in your, they would just, if you have that in your head, which I didn't really know, but if you have that in your head, then this can never happen because you're never going to be in the position where someone's like, oh, yo, send the money, or why would they do that, right? So that's it, man. That's the story. It happened. You know, it's embarrassing, but I hope it helps somebody. And you know, if you're watching this video, subscribe. You know, if it helped you somewhat, subscribe. I'm not gonna start making videos about getting scammed. This is the last time it's ever gonna happen to me. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Sounds like a weird thing to say, but I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.